I had a chance to spend some time with Bill. He would often come to Boston. We would do events, charity events. He would always come to, and we would have
played for your Celtics.
Yeah, played for the Celtics. You know, so he would always come back to different events that we would do, and I always catch him at the All-Star game or something like that. But he always, you know what he always say? He's like, Paul, I just love your attitude. You know what? Continue to be you. Don't ever change for nobody. Don't give a damn what nobody say about you, Paul. Just that's what I love about you. You know, shouldn't care what nobody think about you. And he would always tell me that. Continue to be you. And you know, I was shocked yesterday, Skip. I was sitting there. I didn't know he was battling cancer. I was shocked. Like when I was watching the TV, and it came across the timeline, I literally like, whoa, I like yelled. And my daughter was like, my little one, like, Dad, like, what's, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was in complete shock. You know, I felt like I just saw him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know he was in a battle with cancer, man, but, you know, he'll always be part of the Celtic family. You know, I saw Danny Ainge had a chance to say some very good words with him yesterday. And, you know, it was a big loss to the NBA family. You know, when you lose somebody as iconic as Bill, who's given so much to not only the NBA, but to broadcasting, to college basketball, it's a big loss in our world of you know, hoops, NBA, and in your world of journalism and broadcasting and the things that you do. So his impact on the game will always be remembered, never be forgotten. And I just want to say, you know, thank you, Bill, for all the great words you gave to me, all the positive vibes you gave me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I had interactions with him, obviously ESPN, but also a West Coast guy, right? UCLA guy, the whole thing. But a lot of ours just was a lot of jokes back and forward. So my first name is Joseph. It's Joseph Keyshawn Johnson. So Bill would come and he would see me, hey, Joe, how are you? I'm like, what are you doing, right? So I would tell him in turn, I go, think about this, Skip. I go, had you gone to USC, you may have a gym named after you instead of being second fiddle to Kareem. So he would just laugh and like, oh, yeah, second fiddle. How about that? And mess with him about the bag man at UCLA back then in the John Wooden days.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, so I would just joke with him back and forth.
I once wrote a big story for the LA Times about that bag man.
Yeah, he goes, USC couldn't afford me, Joe. I'm like, man, will you stop calling me Joe? You know.
That's funny.
No, it is.
Funny.
But he was fun. So I did this mega cast with him, one of the first mega casts ever ESPN had. It was around the national championship game when they first, it was like me and him and Michelle Beadle and just it was probably about 10 of us. And he was like, oh, this is, we had a Grateful Dead in here performing. This would be just a live party. And we had some of these other things, you know, and I knew what he was talking about at the time. I'm just like, this dude, how did you ever get through an NBA season? I can tell you that on the side, Joe. You know, just like all of those sort of things. Joe. But, you know, as a kid, I watched him obviously play with the Clippers here in Los Angeles. And then I watched him.
You missed the...
I missed it. And then I saw him with the Boston Celtics, which gave him a little, you know, he still had a little bit, for whatever reason, he found a little bit left. That's why I said earlier...
He won Sixth Man of the Year with the Celtics.
Yes, that's why I said I wish I would have had the opportunity to see him play at UCLA or even in Portland, you know, just when he was Bill Walton, the basketball player, because we saw Bill Walton, who was aging and beat up, and knees was bothering him, the whole thing. Feet. That's what it was, feet.
Yeah.
And so, but the little bit of time that I did spend with him was fun.
All right.
That's for sure.
I'm going to start where you ended. What has bothered me the most watching Bill become the broadcaster, Bill Walton, is that many of the younger viewers have no appreciation for how great he was as a basketball player. They only know this big, lovable, crazy, goofy guy, this great entertainer who might say and do anything on live TV analyzing Pac-12 basketball games. And people would stay up in the East into the wee hours just to watch Bill, not the game, just to watch Bill. And I think a lot of the younger viewers who loved him have no idea that he really even played basketball at the highest of levels, because at UCLA, he dominated college basketball just the way Lou Alcindor or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had done before him. Bill was 3 straight years the player of the year in college basketball. And he was the first pick in the draft. And he goes to Portland, and soon after, he won the MVP of the league, and then he was the finals MVP when they won a championship. And he was actually Joker long before Joker, because Bill Walton could flat out pass the basketball. He had the gift of seeing it, feeling it, anticipating it, and dishing it before it even happened. That passing gift that we see with LeBron and that we've seen with many of the Jason kids before, Bill had that. So if you look at his MVP stats, he's averaging 5 assists a game, which in those days was a whole lot for a big guy. Yeah, it is. He was 19, 13, and 5 assists with 3 blocks. And he played, I talked about Lively, playing with kid energy. Bill always played with kid his energy. He was just like playing Frisbee, you know, like out on the lawn, jumping for the ball, blocking shots. And he dominated pro basketball for those couple of years. Yeah. And his feet betrayed him because he was too big and jumped too high for his feet, because he's almost 7. They gave him 6'11", but he was a leaper of the highest order.
That's why when I saw that clip, that's why I said he got up on that one.
He could get up, and then you got to come down, and you're coming down too hard on your feet, and they were a mess. He missed 2 full years trying to get his feet right. And by the time he was a Clipper and by the time he was a Celtic, he was a shell of his Portland self. Yeah. And I hated that the kids today don't get that, because he was one of the greatest I can't make a case he's better than Kareem or even Wilt. I can't, but he's up in the echelon. He's in the conversation.
Well, he didn't finish though, right?
He just didn't finish. That is correct.
But the beginning of his career certainly was probably in line with theirs.
Yeah. All right. One other direction I'd like to go. Okay, so I first connected with Bill all the way back in 1990. I was doing a radio show in Dallas, and he called me out of the blue. I did not know him, and he said, I would like to come on your radio show every day during March Madness because I want to become a broadcaster. He was a stutterer. He had a terrible stuttering problem, and he said, I'm working on it, and I'm going to beat it, but I need to test it. And if you'd let me come on every day, I don't even want to be paid for it. I'll come on. I think we gave him whatever sort of standard fair fee was, but he wanted to come on and test his ability to not stutter on live radio. And I was in awe of Bill Walton, because up to that point, remember, he wouldn't even deal with the media. He was... At UCLA, Coach Wooden wouldn't let anybody speak to the media. And when he was in Portland, he did not like the media. He didn't speak, so we didn't know who he was. We didn't know about this personality. And he hid it in certain ways because he stuttered. Yeah. And he fixed it, and he beat it. And I promise you, I had him on every day through March Madness for about a month. And not one time did he ever get stuck on the air. Not one time. He was as clean as you could be. And it helped launch him into, because then his personality started to come out, and nobody knew it, because I only knew him as this radical rebel. He protested the Vietnam War when he was at UCLA. He got arrested for it. He was outspoken against using the Star-Spangled Banner as the national anthem. He was way against the grain. Well, that's the Bill Walton we knew before he became this guy. And this guy, it's almost like the conversion we saw in George Foreman, who was, when in the Ali days, he was this imposing figure that everybody was afraid of, and all of a sudden he became this guy selling the George Foreman grills, right? And became everybody's most lovable pitchman, right? And that became Bill Walton in the end.
I wonder who spent more money for national championships, UCLA, Kansas, Kentucky, or Duke?
Spent more money?
I don't think Duke should be in that
UCLA
conversation.
got the most championships,
Duke,
so they
no,
probably
I don't
spent the
think
most.
so.
They probably
Duke had
what about the bag man at UCLA?
UCLA bagman. What was his name? Sam. I think it was Sam the bagman.
Gilbert.
Sam Gilbert the bagman. Yeah. No, Oh, Paul, you missed your time.
I missed my time. Missed my time. I didn't get that bag at Kansas. I got a clip-on tie and $100.
With Bill Walton,
and a calling card.
He was following Kareem or Lou Alcindor back then. He was following him and basically duplicated. That was crazy, though, to think that they just had that success in college like that.
Yeah.
It's like one after another. They just go get him a big man.
If he was a top big man, you went to UCLA then.
Yeah.
You know, that was the line of it.
But he was in San Diego, so it was an easy transition.
Our basketball program sucked. I'm the first to tell you, our school's not built on basketball. We don't care enough about basketball like we do football.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. We just we put our resources in a different sport.
How they doing now?
They're okay. We'll see what Lincoln does this year.
Okay.
We'll see what he does this year.
I'm more into your women's basketball than men's football, right?
Yeah, right now Juju's back, so we'll be okay. We'll be fine. We don't look to be in the Final Four in men's basketball anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's just not our deal. Baseball, we okay.
Y'all got a baseball team?
Yeah, we got a baseball
I didn't know that.
We got a baseball.
You'll be okay?
We'll be fine.
Really?
We'll get back there.
I hadn't noticed. Did you guys make the...
Okay, Vandy made it. We know, Skip. They in the World Series. Yay!
In the World Series? We're not in the World Series yet.
Who?
Just the postseason.
Well, postseason, whatever.
Who?
The Commodores.
Vanderbilt
And
Commodores.
not Lionel Richie.
Y'all keep talking about this.
And not Lionel Richie in the Commodores.
Y'all keep talking about this college day in and day out. We still don't know where it's at.
You don't know where it's at?
Hawaii? Is this in Hawaii?
Venture out and try Nashville.
Is it in Hawaii?
Yeah, it's in Hawaii. Yeah.
Northridge, California?
Yeah. Is Kansas in the... No.
In Kansas, yes.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.